Hi, I'm Ernie Zor, and I have the honor of addressing you in Puritas Spring Software's 43rd Frequently Asked Question video. It continues what we started in FAQs 18 and 37 with computing tips that are especially useful in law offices. I can't think of an office where they wouldn't be handy, but we put together this list with law offices in mind. I'll be using Windows 10 for this demonstration, but I think most, if not all, of these tips are good in Windows 8 and 11 as well. And with that introduction, let's get started. I'm going to start with some simple things that often get overlooked. And one is the title bar. I'm going to bring up the child support application, which I already had started. It's not important. But the title bar is this bar here at the top of the screen. And there's a couple things that you can do with it. You can click on it and move your window if you want to see something behind what you're looking at. Another thing, and this sometimes is overlooked, is that if you double click on it, it'll maximize it. And if you double click on it again, it'll restore back to its size. So a lot of times that's handy too. There's other things here I wanted to mention about the title bar, and that's that it'll usually, not always, but I'm going to say most of the time, there's going to be an indication of what the file name is if you have one opened. And so here you see that we have a file called untitled.r11, and that's a blank child support file that hasn't really been saved and given a name yet. Now, one more thing about this. Let's take a look at Word. I don't know if I have it start. Yeah, okay, I have it started here with a blank document, and you'll notice that there's quite a bit more on the title bar than there was in the child support program. So at first, early on, the title bar was supposed to be clean and simple, and lately now, more and more developers are putting, like, you see all these icons here. And you still can use the functionality of here. I'll double click on it, now I'll double click on it again. So you can still do that. But now you've got to be careful where you double click, because if you double click somewhere else, and that goes true with the moving it around as well. I can't move it around if I click there. I'd have to click on some vacant area of the title bar. All right, I'm going to move on to point number 2. If you ever find yourself needing to nose around on your hard drive, and you will eventually, you use File Explorer to do that. And by the way, in earlier versions of Windows, it was called Windows Explorer. And I'm not going to do too much with it, because you could probably make a whole video on that itself. But I will show you that there's a whole bunch of ways that you can start it up. One is going into the run box down here, or what is it might be called search box too. And let's type File. You see, I didn't even get to type the space E, and it already was suggesting File Explorer. So I could start it by just clicking right there. And there's Explorer. I'm going to shut it down real fast. The next thing is go into Documents on the Start menu. Where would that be? Here it is, Documents. Bang. It not only started File Explorer, but it put us in the Documents folder. I'll shut it back down again. What's another way? I think you could say, hey Cortana, start File Explorer. But I think Cortana, I might have it turned off, because we've got Alexa here, and I usually use that. And so I don't use Siri or any of the other ones. And we'll talk about those in a moment. If you hold the Windows key down and you hit the letter E for Explorer, bang, look what happens. Up starts File Explorer. You know what the Windows key is. That's between Control and Alt on your keyboard, and it doesn't have anything other than probably a little picture of a Windows logo. All right, let's go on to number 3. Since we're talking about the Windows key, let's keep up with the Windows key, because it does a lot. You know, you never use it. I never used it for the longest time, and still don't use it as much as I could. But if I hold the Windows key down and I tap the letter D on my keyboard, let's do it. It minimizes all of the open windows and displays a naked desktop. Windows plus the letter M, well, hold on a second. Okay, if I hit Windows D again, it'll restore what was there. It didn't do, I had NotePad up. covering the whole background there. All right. If you do the Windows key and the letter M, it'll minimize all the open windows. And so I don't have to set it all back up again. I'm going to skip actually hitting the letter M. I've already said that if you hold the Windows key down and E, that'll bring up Explorer. If you do the R letter, it'll bring up the Run dialog. I don't think there's any harm in me bringing that up. Here it is, Windows key plus R. Yeah, there's the little run box. If you know the name of an application, you could always start up things from this box here, but most of the time you probably don't need it. And then the Windows key plus L will lock the screen so that no one can get back into your account, your Windows account, or use your computer without a password. And that I'm not going to get into either. It's Windows key plus L, L for lock. And incidentally, did I mention that was Windows key plus R, R for run? Okay, anyway. There's one more thing I want to say. You know, the Windows key does a lot more. But I just wanted to say, if you use the Windows key plus the print screen key, it'll make a quick dump of your screen. And let's go to Explorer, Pictures, Screenshots, and I'm going to say this is it at the end of the row. I double click on it, and yep, that was the screenshot I just took. So that's kind of cool. If you're asking for technical support and you want to show somebody how something is, perfect. There's a lot of occasions when you could use that, and that's the Windows key plus the print screen key. And again, I don't even think that's half of the functionality that the Windows key has. Well, maybe we'll cover it more completely in the monthly email. But anyway, let's go on to the next thing. That is the fourth item I'm saying, which is making a desktop icon. We've talked about how handy desktop icons are in other earlier videos, but we never demonstrated how to make them. And before I show you, note that you can make an app into an icon. You can make a folder into an icon. You can make a file into an icon. Right now, I'm going to create an icon for an application, the probate application. That's what my script says here. But remember, you can make it for anything. So I guess what I would do is I would look for what I want to find that probate application file. Ooh, documents. Boy, now I'm gonna waste time stumbling around looking for it. I hate that. You know, there's probably another way I could have done this. I'm on the development machine, so I'm going to some bizarre location here and not finding it. Yikes. Sorry about that. Okay. Why did I do that? Shutting it down. All right, here we go. I'm going to right-click on the exe file, and I'm going to choose Create Shortcut. You see how the shortcut appeared there? Now I can cut that. I can click on right-click. What I'm doing is right-clicking, in case you're wondering how I'm bringing up these menus. And I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to put Cut. And then I'm going to go to my desktop. Oh, I went to the desktop. Just to let you know, the desktop that you see on your screen is just a folder like any other, and it's called desktop. Let's go to the actual desktop. I'm going to go down in the lower right corner, and that's a minimize everything. Oh, I could have used the Windows key plus M to do what I just did. But anyway, I'm going to right-click again. Boy, that's one of my favorite things is right-clicking. And I'm going to hit Paste, and there it is. Now, I've created an icon for starting up the probate program. And that's how you do it. I'm going to go and get rid of the screen clutter, and I'll put the child support program back up there. I got to pick something easier to do it on, something where I won't have to research on how to do it. Open file location, that's what I was looking for. Now, this will take me in Explorer to where this application is and then I just do the same thing as you watched. I would right-click on this, and I would say create shortcut, and the rest of it would be exactly the same as what you just saw. So anyway, let's go to the next item, number 5. It's Quick Assist. There is already a video about this. It's FAQ number 30. It's a really handy thing. You want to at least know what it is, and I'm sure that eventually along the way you'll find a use for it. But what do is I just type quick, and look, you see it knew already. I didn't even have to type the assist part, but if I click on that, ooh, I wonder how long this is going to take to start up. I use it quite often. I might be logging into my account now or something like that. We could always edit it out if it goes much longer than this, but I wanted to at least show you the startup screen if I could. And that may be impossible to do. And grabbing on that title bar. See the title bar? I was able to drag it over here. It gives me the name of the application. There it's starting up. Now, if I wanted to give someone assistance, I would click here, and the other person, I would give them a number, and they would use it here. Yeah, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but what it'll do is it will let me see their screen and control their mouse and keyboard from my computer. Very cool. If you're helping somebody, it's just the best. There's nothing that beats it as a tool. Okay, moving along. NotePad. It's running in the background right now. What is it? It's your basic text editor. This is some text. Okay, why would you ever need anything? Because just to let you know, I don't think there's no bold, there's no italics, there's no nothing. It's just this text. And why would you want something like that? Well, I don't think I can demonstrate it right now, but if I was to go on the internet, let me try. This will probably fail. Let's go on the internet, and let's grab these 2 paragraphs. Oh, boy. Let's see what happens. If I went right into Word and pasted it, okay. Not exactly what I wanted, but it did paste it. Okay, here it is. No. You see, there's these codes, and sometimes they are sprinkled everywhere throughout your document. And so then if you're pasting something from the internet, you've got to go through this thing, and like I would do right now, and delete all these things. And this was not the best example because it only had 2 instances in one paragraph, but sometimes there'll be dozens of these codes that have to be removed. Let's Control Z our way back to a blank document. And let's go back to our example here, and I highlighted it, and I probably didn't even say it. I hit Control C so I can copy it, and then I pasted it into Word like you saw. Only this time, instead of doing that, I'm going to paste it into NotePad. Let's get rid of that stuff there. Now I'm going to Control A to select all of it, Control C to copy it. And now let's go to Word and paste. Control V. Look at that. All right. You could see where Notepad really comes in handy in that kind of a situation. There are many more situations where it comes in handy. But I can't think of any right now. Got a little brain freeze going on. But I use it so much that if you went to my desktop, I'm going to do Windows key M, minimized everything after I manually closed most of it. What was I going to say? Notepad. Oh, yeah. It's so useful that I keep a link on here that I can drag documents to. You'd be surprised what Notepad could open. There's a lot of things it won't open, like proprietary files, like a doc file, but there's a lot of files out there that Notepad will read quite well when nothing else might do the job as well. All right, let's get into, all right, here's something else. This one is going to be more particular to our program, the probate program. Did I close it already? Yeah, that's too bad about that. I'm going to Windows key E to open up Explorer. And because this is the development machine, it's not set up like most things are. So I'm having to go through a lot of extra steps here that you would normally not have to go through just to start this thing up. And there we go. Okay, and this is what I wanted to show you. It's a very handy trick. Some of you probably might know it already if you use the probate, but when you're in the asset worksheet or the expense worksheet, any worksheet that's got a big old description box like this, and sometimes an office will call and they say, hey, you know, we work with the bank and the bank gives us the big long legal description of real estate. They give it to us as a Word doc. Is there a way I can get it into the program without having to retype it? And the answer is, yeah, there is. And here's how you do it. Let's go back to Word. Okay, I'm going to use this text for lack of a better, I don't want to try to find a legal description. That would really be wasting some time. Control-C, I dragged over it to select it all. Control-C to put it in the Windows invisible clipboard. Now I'm going back here, and I'm going to hit, I'm not going to use well, let me try Control-V. Oh yeah, okay, Control-V worked. Sometimes Control-C and Control-V don't work. And that's when it's really, really handy to know the two universal keys. And that's Control-Insert, copy, Shift-Insert, paste. I have found over a really long period of time that these two key sets work everywhere, all the time. And when Control-C and Control-V don't work, Control-Insert, Shift-Insert does work. So not bad. Let's go on to number 8, Windows Update. My neighbor suggested this. He said, oh, you got to put that in if you're 10 top tips. So, and I agree. It's really important to keep your Windows up to date. The thing is that I believe that Windows now defaults, so this may not be something necessary, but on my Windows 10 machine, this is how hard they make it to turn on and off, or to turn off, I should say. I'm going to go into the run box here, or the search box, and I'm going to type Windows Update. Here we go, Windows Update settings. Oh, no, wait, no, that's not what I was supposed to do. No, okay, sorry about that. Let me try that again. I don't think that's where I was supposed to go, and I know that's not where I was supposed to go. I'm going to get rid of the probate application. We don't need that up there. And I think I had NotePad up, a blank NotePad, and the child support. We'll go back to home base there. Let's try this again. I think what I was supposed to type was services, like this. And you start up services. This is the only way I know to do this. Now it's starting an application that's part, I guess, of the Windows operating system called Services. And if you scroll or drag your way down here to Windows Update, did I pass it? No, here it is. I can double click on it and bring up this box. Yeah, I'm sure there's another way to get to this box, but that's the way that I know. And look, take a look. See, you can. There's things you can do, like mainly to stop and start it. But again, you may want to check and see if it's running, and because the stop button is, it tells me the status is running right there. So anyway, okay, I'm going to cancel out of that, get out of the service, and we're going to go to, I think it might be the last item, the 10th item, or no, this is the 9th one. DuckDuckGo. You know, this is there's good to this. There's a good side to this, and a bad side to what I'm going to show. What the situation is with search engines, I should say, and that's that. If you use Google, or I think Bing is the same way. I'm probably sure that Safari is the same way too. But when you're browsing, unless there are browse anonymously settings, if you can trust them. Taking note of, like Google, for example, it's where you're going, what times of the day you're doing it, what you're interested in, what you click on and like. More information about you than you would almost think possible, really. And that's why if, like, let's say you're searching for a child's toy, and you don't buy it, you just were looking at it maybe on Amazon or something, or you Googled it. you'll start noticing that every time you might go to Amazon now, there's an ad for that toy in the corner. Or you may go to your favorite website and see, well, there's an ad for that toy there. Well, that's what it's all about. And there's good to that. It's good when the browser can anticipate things for you. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is when it's abused or used in ways that are not for your benefit. And if you don't want that kind of tracking system to be running in the background, you can use a program called DuckDuckGo. I'm going to bring up Google Chrome because we'll be talking about that in a second anyway. But let's open a new tab, and I'm going to go to Google. Okay, it goes to Google automatically for me. Hey, this is another cool one. Look at how, if you don't have this set up, because these are all common places I go to, and you could set these icons up on there, and that's cool. A lot of people don't know that, but it's a cool thing to do. But it also would have the word Amazon right next to it, so all of these wouldn't fit in the space that you see them right now. So what I do is I go into the editing of them, and I remove the label. So all I see is the icon. So as long as I can tell what the icon's for, I'm good to go. That's really cool. What was that, a bonus tip? Whoa, this should be ringing a bell now, if there is one. And now I forgot what I was going to do. Oh, DuckDuckGo. Okay, let's go. Let's check it out. Yeah, it already was going on that. Let's go DuckDuckGo, and this must be the browser. You might, of course, make if you like this and you were using it all the time, I'd make an icon for this location. And that brings up another subject, is that I was talking about, you could make an application into a desktop icon, you could make a file, you could make a folder. What I didn't say is that you could make a website into a shortcut as well. I think I've already done that on one video, and I'm not going to go into it now because I'm sure I'm really going long on this. But anyway, now, like it says there in the ghost prompt, I can search the web without being tracked. All right, let's get on to the last one, and that's Google Chrome. I use Google Chrome. Well, yeah, I use Google Chrome mostly, but I do find that websites differ. Some of them react better to one browser over another, so I do switch around, but mainly I would use Google Chrome. And one good thing about Google Chrome is that it has a password manager, a secure password manager, one that's not looked down upon by the pundits and the experts. And you can go into that by going to settings, like I did right now. I clicked on this, whatever they call that button. I think it's menu button or something. I forget. Anyway, I go down to settings, and then I choose autofill in the pane here. And now I can click on passwords, and this will let me set some options. There's all the places I go and all the passwords. Oh my God, I hope I'm not disclosing all my private information. No, I'm not, because the passwords are dotted out there. Just making a bad joke, that's all. All right, hey, I think that was it. And so I should be hearing closing music, but I don't hear it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done, and if there was music here, that would be my cue to wrap it up. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe one of these tips earns a place in your tool bag. That's what I'm hoping for. After all, that's the purpose of the videos. And by the way, if you liked this video, remember, we published two very similar ones with 10 tips each. I think they were much shorter than this one's going to be. That was FAQ number 18 and FAQ number 37. So anyway, thanks for taking time out to watch. I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay healthy and happy. I really wish you all the best.